What disease did Mauricio Umansky have? Neutropenia explained. Mauricio Umansky has been very open about his health this year, following a February ski accident which left him with a broken clavicle. But some people might not know that Kyle Richards' estranged husband suffered from a rare disease, neutropenia, as a young child. Kyle had previously opened up about Mauricio's childhood health journey during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 10, Episode 10, when she hosted a charity event and auction to support Children's Hospital Los Angeles. When Mauricio was born, he had a blood disease called neutropenia, she revealed. And he spent a good part of his life in Children's Hospital, she continued. So when we think about where we want to put our energy and our appreciation into, it's Children's Hospital Los Angeles. What is neutropenia? Neutropenia, according to the Mayo Clinic, is a disease that occurs when the body has too few neutrophils, a type of white blood cells. This is important because all white blood cells help the body fight infections, but neutrophils are important for fighting certain infections, especially those caused by bacteria. Mauricio Umansky opens up about his battle with neutropenia. Mauricio put his childhood struggle with neutropenia into words in his 2023 memoir, The Dealmaker: How to Succeed in Business and Life Through Dedication, Determination, and Disruption. At the time I was diagnosed with neutropenia, most people died from it, he wrote. Therefore, the first 6 years of my life were consumed by my parents' fear. Mauricio recalled being poked and prodded, and having his blood taken at the hospital multiple times a week. Incredibly, when I was 6 years old, after a visit to Boston Children's Hospital for a regular blood test, the doctors told me I was cured and that I no longer had neutropenia, he continued. It was a medical miracle that set the tone for the self-assured man I was destined to become. Still, the trauma of those 6 years took a mental toll on me and are completely blocked from my memory. Mauricio appeared on the Titans of Real Estate podcast in June 2019, where he admitted that his recovery is nothing short of remarkable. I was lucky to be cured, he recalled. It was not a curable disease. It was, at that point, it was just something you got lucky, and I feel like I've had a little bit of a leprechaun on my shoulder ever since then. In his memoir, however, Mauricio revealed that the focus on his neutropenia led his family to not realize that he was legally blind in one eye until he was about 9 years old. What was so astonishing is that my blind eye had never hindered me, he admitted, noting that his vision remains 24 hundredths in that eye. Fortunately, as with every other hindrance I've encountered throughout my life, I found a way to thrive in spite of it. Details on Mauricio Umansky's long road to recovery after ski accident. Clearly, Mauricio is no stranger to adversity, which is why he's not letting his recent ski accident bring him down. The agency founder took to Instagram on February 28, where he revealed that he had a bionic metal plate plus 12 screws put into his clavicle to fix it. Long road to recovery, he wrote in the caption of the post. It's about the journey and the attitude. I feel blessed and lucky. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in life. I got saved. Mauricio Umansky, resilience, health battles, and triumphs. The early struggles, Mauricio Umansky's journey into adulthood wasn't easy. Behind the glitzy world of real estate deals and luxury homes was a boy who spent much of his early life fighting for his health. The world knew him as a successful entrepreneur, the husband of reality TV star Kyle Richards, and the face of a prominent real estate company, but few understood the depth of the battles he faced long before he found fame. Born in Mexico City, Mauricio's early years were marked by hospital visits and health concerns that his parents feared would shape his entire life. It wasn't until his estranged wife, Kyle, opened up about his childhood health struggles during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that the public began to grasp just how intense his early years were. In a moment of reflection, while hosting a charity event for Children's Hospital Los Angeles, Kyle shared the painful truth of Mauricio's early life. When Mauricio was born, he had a rare health condition, which required him to spend a lot of time in the hospital. The condition was neutropenia, a rare disorder that left Mauricio's immune system severely compromised. Neutropenia meant his body didn't produce enough neutrophils, a type of white blood cell vital in fighting infections, particularly bacterial ones. In a time when medical technology wasn't as advanced as it is now, the condition was often fatal, and Mauricio's parents were forced to watch as their son fought for his life. A fight for survival. As a child, Mauricio didn't fully understand what was happening to him. He simply knew he was constantly in and out of hospitals, undergoing tests and procedures that most children never even have to think about. The sterile smell of hospitals became his reality, the beeping of monitors a constant soundtrack in the background. Every visit felt like another round in a battle he didn't fully comprehend. He often recalls his parents' faces as they looked at him, trying to comfort him during the long stretches of recovery. I could see the fear in their eyes, but they tried to shield me from it, Mauricio recalled in his 2023 memoir, The Dealmaker: How to Succeed in Business and Life Through Dedication, Determination, and Disruption. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was always in pain or why I couldn't go outside like other kids. The condition was so severe that at times, doctors believed that Mauricio wouldn't survive. But as his memoir later revealed, his parents, driven by love and determination, never gave up hope. They sought treatment from various specialists, hoping for a miracle. At one point, when Mauricio was only 6 years old, a breakthrough came during a visit to a specialized hospital. The doctors delivered the life-changing news: Mauricio's neutropenia had cleared. After years of uncertainty, the medical community had found a treatment that allowed his immune system to function properly. However, this victory wasn't just physical, it was emotional as well. Mauricio emerged from this battle with a strength and resilience that would define his approach to every challenge he faced throughout his life. The road to recovery. Though Mauricio's immune system had stabilized, his battle with health didn't end there. He went on to develop another medical issue that would remain hidden for years: a vision problem in one of his eyes. It wasn't until he was 9 years old that his parents discovered that his vision in one eye had been significantly impaired. Imagine growing up thinking everything you saw was the way everyone saw things. I didn't know there was a problem with my eye because I had adapted to it, Mauricio wrote in The Dealmaker. But when I finally got a diagnosis, it was like a light bulb went off. It was yet another challenge, but I had learned to take them one at a time. The news of his vision impairment, though startling, didn't deter him. Mauricio, having already faced the uncertainty of his health, took the diagnosis in stride. Doctors suggested corrective lenses, which he reluctantly accepted. For the first time in years, Mauricio felt like he was seeing the world more clearly, not just physically, but emotionally. His experiences had shaped him into someone who saw life with a sense of clarity that few people his age could comprehend. The triumph of resilience. As Mauricio entered adolescence, he had faced a lifetime of medical challenges. He had lived through the fear of not knowing if he would survive, only to emerge victorious. He had learned to adapt to changes in his vision, and in doing so, he had become someone who didn't shy away from challenges. In fact, Mauricio began to embrace them. His childhood had not just been about surviving, it had been about learning to thrive despite the odds. I realized that no matter what happens, I have the power to control my destiny, Mauricio reflected. The health battles taught me resilience, but they also taught me how to focus on what I can do, rather than what I can't. These lessons would serve him well in his later years when he turned to business. With the same determination that had fueled his recovery as a child, Mauricio dove into the world of real estate, starting from scratch and quickly rising to become one of the most successful figures in the industry. But even in the world of multi-million-dollar deals and luxury homes, Mauricio's past health struggles remained a part of his story. They had shaped his work ethic, his drive, and most importantly, his approach to life. "I've always said that the way you respond to failure is what defines you," he wrote. "It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get up." The ski accident and new challenges. Despite his success, life had other challenges in store for Mauricio. In February 2025, he faced a setback that, for a moment, seemed to threaten everything he had worked for. While skiing on a trip with friends, Mauricio suffered a serious accident, breaking his clavicle in multiple places. The injury required surgery, during which doctors inserted a metal plate and screws to stabilize his bone. The recovery process was grueling. "I've always prided myself on my ability to bounce back," he wrote in an Instagram post following the surgery. But this was different. This time, the injury was serious and the recovery was slow. It was hard to stay positive in the face of such pain.